So this is Elida, Orkney 24 Pilothouse, built in 2005. And so I've owned her for 16 years now. Built her in 2009. Used her an awful lot. She's come out in the winter almost every year. She's a planing hull. The hull I think was designed by the same guy who designed the Nelson hulls. Certainly she performs very well even when it's rough. I've been out in up to 35 odd knots in rough fairly at the Windigates tide. It was very rough and she had no problems with her at all. She was absolutely alright. She has a forward cabin which is solid, and then this back cover which comes off if you want it to. I mainly use her for going on trips with the family and going away, and I stayed on for a couple of weeks. We also use her a lot for race management. We run a lot of racing all around Solent and South area, so we used her a lot for that. She's an outdrive. She had a new bottom half of her leg last year because the old one was going towards the end of its time and wasn't, and she also had a new clutch thing as well, and new pumps for the steering. That was all replaced last year. And she has a back. Those are the clips where the tender sits, and it sits on the back. We never worried about what we spent on her. We always felt we had a good, reliable, because if we're going away we needed to be good. So she's been covered in vinyl, which is really superb. Been there a few years, 3 or 4 years now. The beauty of it is every time you bang it or bash it or something happens to it, you just cut that bit off and stick a new bit on, so it works very easily. So that's her. I'm going to now climb aboard and see, she's got a ladder here, so a ladder which works well. As you say, it doesn't flip under the boat, which is better than most. I'm going to climb up on board then and get you to do another video. So I've climbed into the back of the boat, and this is looking the door into the cabin where you drive from. As I say, there's 2 lockers, one each side. The left hand, and then if you come round, if I move along here and come round, you'll see that you've got the cover all over, and then you've got the engine underneath the back there, and there's 2 little seats, one each side, which was special fitting on her, which will take your weight, and it's very stable, meaning you can sit and look forward while you're driving. For those who don't know the boats, these are 2 fish lockers. Look, you can see there's a fish locker there with a slip which will open up into the sea if you want them to, and then there's a self-draining cockpit. It's licensed for up to 10 people in it, so you can. It's quite easy to code because of the design. This is the engine. That's a D4-210. As I say, it's had replacement heat exchangers. It's always been well serviced. Has absolutely by the book without any problems. It's got 2 domestic batteries underneath there and 1 engine battery which is separate. It's got a water thing which has got an immersion heater, as well as a heat exchanger into the engine which helps. And down there you can see there's a thing called a fuel dipper, which is something that scrubs the fuel. It has a pipe that comes from the bottom of the fuel tank. It has its own little pump, and it pulls out all the water and all the diesel bug. I had a bit of diesel bug once and hated it, so I had that fitted. And so basically it pulls out all the diesel bug all the time. Bilge pump in the bottom there, automatic bilge pump or manual, whichever you want. As I say, and then a little switch there so you can link the batteries if you manage to discharge the engine battery for something happens. So that's the engine. As I say, very well serviced. I have all service records for the last 16 years. Look at this locker here, has the gas cylinders in it. So you have 2 big gas cylinders, which powers the cooker. And then in this one we have all the ropes and things and everything there, and these are the bits we're leaving behind, bits of rope and bath lockers. So those are lockers, fuel tanker underneath the bit here. So that's the back of the boat. There, right, we'll move into the middle of the boat now. Lovely sunny morning, but that may not help. That's basically the driving position here. So when you're driving you can look out to the window, you have a nice high seat and see over the bow. There's 50 metres of 60 metres of chain, 7mm chain in there with an anchor on it will hold her pretty well, almost invariably without a problem, and a big forward hatch. So as I say, I've never had any problem with the windlass there, it just works. As I say, they've got these little things there are demisters to manage to, if it gets a bit misted up, you can press that and sort it out, and then you've got the instruments there for the engine, and then you move down and you've got the autopilot and the chart plotter with the fish finders in it. Down here you've got the bow thruster, which is really useful when you're parking, makes it much easier. Then you've got obviously the steering wheel, you've got 2 sets of electric stuff, that's your basic stuff, all the ones that are put in there with the windlass control, so you don't even, and the windlass goes in and out without you having to go on the foredeck, so it's really easy for that. And then you come down onto here, and then there's some more stuff, and that's there's some USB fittings, and then some running lights and all sorts of other bits and pieces there, and demisters, and a searchlight on top, and then USB fittings there. You've got the trim controls, the engine controls, and the trim tabs there over there. A little ready-use locker there, so you can keep all your bits and pieces in there. And here we've got all the charts live in there, and all the post papers live in there, so it's very easy. Down in there you've got the autopilot computer and all the bits of electronics and electrics. Again, a very big nice storage cupboard, so it's very easy lots of storage in here. Under here is more storage, and those are special windscreen wipers, and also spare belts for the engine, for the water cooler, for the pumps, and also various things like water impellers and things which I'm leaving the boat because there's no point pulling them out. I use that cupboard to store a lot of crockery and cutting back in boxes, and so nice dry cupboard, works well. That's good. Around here we have another cupboard underneath the sink, and that has your power, has the mains power all there, and the big storage stuff there on the bottom of the sink. And it's also got this, it's got solar panels on the roof, and that's the thing that manages the solar panels. Solar panels work very well. They'll charge, they'll keep the fridge going all the time. They're only a year or 2 old. Really good system, and speakers for the stereo system there. Up onto got a sink with new controls, new fittings onto that, and a nice sink. And the lockers there where we put all the cups and saucers and stuff. There's an extra seat that gives us 3 people can sit and look out on there. And again, you've got the VHF radio there and the other speaker for the speaker system. If you flip that forward like that, you've then got the cooker, and you can see how that works. Nice. The gas burner works very well, nicely, no problem at all. And underneath it you've got the fridge. Nice clean. That's a few years old now, but it works, it's dual power, so it either works on mains or on battery, I'm told. And that's nice, easy fridge. Does the job. So that's that bit. Come down here. You've got the control, that's the Everspacher heater, central heating, which is really nice. Heats the whole boat up very nicely. And this is diesel, so it's very easy. In the back, there's a locker for the coes and things in there, and coat rack, that's very useful. Over here you've got a fire extinguisher. There's your stereo system, which is Bluetooth, and so you can actually just plug your radio in onto that. When you come around here, you've got inside lights. I've taken all the soft furnishings off. As you look at the other pictures, you'll see there's a backrest and blue and blue cushions, and that all fits around there. I've taken them all off because it's the middle of winter and it's cold, and I wanted to keep them there it's warm and dry, so there's no mildew on them. And there's the other. Got some lockers in here. Your nice big locker, and that's your bow thruster in there, so that's good. So that's a very nice locker for storing bedding and stuff. There's another locker in there for clothes and whatever else you want to put in. Again, lots of locker there. Big there full of lots of vinyl to repair any vinyl problems you've got. That's the spare vinyl. If you want to do any problems, lots of internal lights. They're all LED now, so very good on power. Here's the toilet door there, and again, that's the table. That can either be used on the table downstairs here, or it can go out the back and be used in the back area, or it can be used on the bed. And that's the bar that holds the table up. You want to use it as a table. You just drop it down there, it fits on there, and makes a enormous sort of great big double bed there. A wash basin with, and that's a shower. The hose comes up there, so you can actually have a shower in here without a problem. Its own little window, its own light, various cleaning materials, and a toilet. So a nice compact little area there for shower, toilet, and cleaning material. Works very well. No problem. Never had any problem with any of that. It just works. So that's really the inside of the boat. Hatch there to escape hatch if you have a problem and you start sinking. Hatch through into the anchor chain if you're having a problem and want to be able to manage it from inside. You can open that and get at the anchor chain. Yeah, I'd say main power there. There's a 13 amp plug there and another one just there, near there. And so that works well. So that's her really. She's done about 900 hours of motoring on the engines. But as I say, she's had lots of new bits fitted, and new gearing, and new leg, and new water heat exchangers. So she's in good lick, and I've got no reason why she shouldn't go on with it for a long time. But I'd say otherwise clean and nice. Having watched the other videos, I now realise I missed a locker here. That's the locker in the floor by the steering compartment and inside there. If you open this locker up, you will find in there you've got the water tank, which holds about 13 gallons of water, and that fills up from the pump up from the areas outside. And that's the water pump there that keeps the water pressure up. And then there you've got the gyro compass that runs for the chart plotter. You've also got the in and out control stopcocks for the toilets, and they've been replaced as well. Because I thought it was time they were done, and as I say, underneath there you've got various pumps and things. So again, nice locker here, which you can, again, good storage, quite cold storage, good for beer and things, and it works very nicely. So again, lots of storage here. Just wanted to do that. Thank you.